Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At least one rocket was fired last night, further than ever before from Gaza towards the northern Israeli city Hadera. To try to get an understanding of the Gazan arsenal, we've asked Uzi Rubin to join us this morning. He is the president of the Rubicon Defense Consultancy and was director of Israel's Missile Defense Organization in the Ministry of Defense. First, let's get your opening thoughts, Uzi Rubin, and then we'll take some of the questions.
Well, good morning, everyone. What we are seeing here in action is what was accurately predicted by our intelligence during the time between Pillar of Defense and today. The Hamas and the Jihad in Gaza increased and improved their arsenals, and we are talking about basically three families of rockets. The homemade small short-range ones that are used to a range of 10 or 12 or maybe a little more kilometers, and they're really homemade in the workshops in Gaza. Usually quite crude manufacturing, but we've known them since almost 14 years ago. The second family is the factory-made Grad rockets, 122 millimeters with a range of about 40 kilometers, which are being used in great quantities against the further cities like Beersheba and Ashdod. And we saw yesterday some fierce battle between them and Iron Dome. And the last or the third family is the longer, the strategic, what they call the strategic ones, are the one type of rocket is 4-inch, 200 millimeters, they call it M75. I think it has no parallel. It's a rocket probably designed for the Gaza factions, and its range is anywhere between 75 and 80 kilometers, and that's the ones that are fired at Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Now, we knew, and there was enough hints that they have a longer-range stuff, but it wasn't clear exactly what that longer-range stuff was. It now seems from the single example that fell in Hadera, as I see in the news, that this is the Syrian 302 millimeter rocket with a range of about 150, 160 kilometers potential range. Why it hit only up to Hadera, I don't know. Maybe they missed a lot. Also, you have to remember that Gaza Strip is a long piece of territory, and the question is where they fire it from. The south end is about 60 kilometers from the north end, so that would make the difference. So these are the three families. Beyond that, they have mortar bombs, which are tactical weapons for infantry fighting, which are using in order to spoil our concentrations around Gaza and to harass the nearby settlements. I think I'll conclude my opening remark at that point, and I'll take questions.
Thank you very much. I think you covered a lot of the questions in your opening, but I'll run through them anyway. To what extent has Hamas been able to smuggle in those new weapons since 2012? To what extent has it been able to improve its arsenal, and how has it done that? I mean, you talked about the groups.
Well, obviously, during the rule of Islamic Jihad, Islamic Brotherhood in Egypt, relation between Egyptian government of the time and Hamas were very good. They were actually fraternal ideological brothers and even organizational brothers. Hamas is Islamic Brotherhood. So it stands to reason that the tunnels hummed with activity. And what was smuggled was probably not only rockets, but raw materials and even machinery. I'm just guessing. I have no information on that. But actually, it was an open route, two-way route. Now, since the military took over again in Egypt, as far as I know, this route is closed down. And they have great difficulty in obtaining more supplies and rockets through the tunnels. So what they have is an arsenal that they managed to accumulate during the time between Pillar of Defense and the closing of the tunnels recently. It's quite a lot of time. They could manage to bring in a lot of stuff. And that explains the increase of ranges. I got another phone call. Okay, I shut it off.
Okay, let me carry on. Just very quickly, if you could just list what are the countries of origin of the rockets that are smuggled into Gaza?
Well, it's Iran, but you have the 302 millimeter rocket is manufactured. The only counted manufacturers it is Syria. So, and we saw what happened with the closed sea. The truth is that they are transferred from Syria to Iran, and from Iran somehow to sea routes, or perhaps to Port Sudan, and then overland to the Sinai, and from there to the tunnels.
How sophisticated are the rockets that are made inside the Gaza Strip?
Well, the new ones, the longer range ones, the M75, are, as I understand, well made. It's either they've smuggled the machinery into Gaza, or they are smuggling the components of those rockets, have smuggled those components of the rockets and assembled them inside Gaza. I cannot say, I don't know. But the quality seems to be of the 75, 80 kilometer rockets, of what they call M75, seems to be good, like almost factory-like. But this is the quality. Remember, we are talking about performance. These are very simple weapons. They are not sophisticated. They are simply rockets. And what they have is range and warhead, but not accuracy.
You mentioned mortar bombs in passing, and you're saying that they're used just locally. Is there an argument that says right now that the IDF is pinning back the rocket fire into populated areas in Gaza, and as a result, mortars are not being used as much because they can't be fired so close to the nearest army positions and local Israeli villages?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. That's tactical. I'm a rocket man, not an infantry fighting man. I really don't know about that.
Okay, and Iron Dome, why is it only fired at a limited number of rockets?
Because it selects its target. Hold on, I need to shut up someone here. אני בשיחה אחרת, אני מוכרח לסגור. Iron Dome works selectively. You don't engage any target in the air. You only engage the targets that are going to penetrate what you define defended area. And the defended area, of course, is something which we don't disclose. This is set up by each battery according to the instructions, and it could be wider or narrower depending on what's the objectives and the priorities of the Air Defense Command as they get the instruction from the High Command, and what to defend and what to let go. So the rockets, the Iron Dome will engage only those rockets that aim to penetrate, are calculated to go to penetrate into the defended area. And this it's doing very successfully, very, very successfully. You saw the results yesterday. You saw the result this morning in the Dan area.
And final question, is there any chance that Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and the others will ever run out of rockets?
Yes, obviously. They have, as I say, the tunnels are closed.
Okay,
Hello?
Yes.
Tunnels are closed. Every rocket that they fire is a rocket they cannot fire again. And it seems to me, from the pattern of the firing, that they are saving on ammunition. They don't fire all what they have and not fast enough. They are preparing for a long campaign, and because of that, to my surprise, the rate of fire up to now, I say yesterday, is less than what they fired during pillar of fire on an average day. The pillar of defense, an average day.
Okay, Uzi Rubin is president of Rubicon Defense Consultancy and was director of Israel's Missile Defense Organization. Thanks to you, and thanks all for joining us.